South Africa, a land that continues to confuse, amaze, and entertain everyone who visits it. And recently, a Kenyan woman posted a video that summed it up perfectly. She called South Africa mystery. And honestly, after listening to her, she wasn't wrong. From names that twist your tongue, to unexpected water cuts, to the endless obsession with meat, this story is a whole cultural safari. Let's dive in.
I'm a foreigner in South Africa, and a lot of South Africans don't have English names, okay? It makes them unique as Africans. A lot of Africans are called John, Peter, Joseph, Elizabeth, Scholastica. So yeah, that makes South Africans very unique. And the names are quite complicated or complex to mention, especially if you have to put your tongue a certain way. So you gotta be ready and train your tongue to get it right. And some South African names are quite interesting. You'll find someone called Sbu and Mbu. Listen, the first time I heard of Sbu, I thought that dude was joking. Like, he introduced himself and he was like, "My name is Sbu," and I literally thought he was just being corny or just trying to make fun, or he was just, trying to be cool, only to realize that this name is a real name. Personally, I've never heard of three-letter names. And someone from East Africa, I would never get the name Mbu right, because I would definitely be saying Mbu. And Mbu basically means mosquito. One thing that you get notified about when you arrive in South Africa is load shedding. They openly tell you that, you're going to be experiencing load shedding from time to time. But that's not even that deep. The water situation is crazy. It makes me feel like Africa really has no water, because back at home, yes, some places do have water issues. In South Africa, I thought it was going to be better because there's a lot of mountains. The landscape screams water. There's a lot of mountains and hills. So you're expecting that the sources of water are so many. But bro, sometimes you're just sitting like this and then water disappears and you're like, dang, I hope I don't receive any guests, because are they going to use the toilet? South Africans are obsessed with meat. I'm talking mutton, beef, pork, and any other kind of meat that you know. And yes, I'm not talking about that meat that you're thinking. So yes, South Africans have a lot of meat. The girls have a lot of shaky, wobbly, water, nyash. They will cook something like samp. Samp in my place is called githeri. So it's basically a mix of maize and beans. But South Africans will ensure that there's meat in that meal. So they are meaty. They are meaty people. I've also come to realize that South Africans and Nigerians literally just love each other. They just have this toxic brotherly love. The animosity between Nigerians and South Africans is not that deep. When I came here, I used to think, dang, how do Nigerians even survive in this country? But then I later realized that the animosity is just not that deep. Honestly, they have this toxic love for each other, the brotherly kind of love. And honestly, I would be very hypocritical if I judged the kind of love that they share, considering I come from East Africa and we have the same love for Tanzanians and Ugandans and just our neighbors. We make fun of them for different reasons, but yeah, at the end of the day, we love each other. South Africans call Nigerians capital letter speakers. I was talking to someone the other day, and I've also seen this on my comment section, where people think I'm Nigerian and then they call me, "You capital letter speaker," like basically trying to insinuate that Nigerians speak in capital letters. Like, their laughter is just like thunder, and sometimes you're like, dang, we need some peace around town, please, Nigerians. With that being said, on Saturday we are grooving. We have a whole event for Kenyans in Johannesburg. So if this video reaches you before Saturday, make sure to pop up. On 13th of September, we're going to be having a blast at Goldfield Ground Show. Make sure that you avail yourself. You don't need to pay for anything. Everything is catered for. We will have nyama choma, also known as shisa nyama here. But we're going to be having a lot of activities, football, awards. We're going to be just having entertainment left, right, and center. So make sure that you show up. And this does not limit you. If you're South African and you want to have a blast with us, please show up. Like, if you're blessed enough, carry a drink, eggs, carry anything that you can afford to share with others, whether it's boiled eggs, maize, carry anything, drinks, smokes, just to show up.
So, the Kenyan woman begins her story by saying, "I'm off arena in South Africa, and a lot of South Africans don't have English names." And right there, she already touches on something fascinating. In many African countries, English or biblical names are extremely common. John, Peter, Joseph, Elizabeth, Scholastica. The list goes on. But in South Africa, names often come straight from the heart of local languages. isiZulu, isiXhosa, Sesotho, Setswana, and others. Each name carries a meaning, a rhythm, and sometimes a pronunciation challenge for outsiders. She admits, some of these names are not easy for visitors. You've got to train your tongue just to get them right. And she's not wrong. South African names like Nkobil, Solani, or Nthabiseng can sound like tongue twisters to anyone, unfamiliar with click sounds or consonant clusters. But that's part of the beauty. It's a deep expression of identity, culture, and pride. Then she says something hilarious. She met someone named Sbu and thought he was joking. She genuinely thought he was being funny or trying to sound cool until she realized that Sbu is actually short for Sibusiso. It's a real name, and a pretty common one too. She laughs about it, saying that in East Africa, she's never heard of a three-letter name before. And when she came across the name Mbu, she just couldn't get it right. She says in Kenya, Mbu means mosquito. So imagine trying to say someone's name, but every time you do, you feel like you're calling them a mosquito. That's culture shock 101 right there. Now, as any foreigner in South Africa soon learns, there's one word that will shape your entire stay: load shedding. She jokes that when you arrive, South Africans openly warn you, hey, you're going to experience load shedding from time to time. And she's like, okay, cool, until she actually experiences it. That moment when the lights go off and you realize, oh, this is not a suggestion, this is a lifestyle. But she brushes it off with humor, saying it's not even the worst part. The real challenge, according to her, is water. She expected South Africa to have abundant water. I mean, she says there are mountains, hills, and the landscape screams water. But sometimes she's just chilling, and suddenly the water disappears. No warning, no explanation, just silence from the tap. And that's when she starts praying no guests come over, because you can't exactly tell them, hey, please don't flush. She uses that moment to reflect on how across Africa water management is still a big issue, even in countries that seem rich in natural resources. Then she moves on to something close to every South African's heart: meat. She says South Africans are obsessed with meat. Mutton, beef, pork, you name it, they love it. She clarifies, she's not talking about that kind of meat, she's talking about the edible kind. And she adds, South Africans are meaty people. She even jokes that the women have shaky, wobbly, wada nyash. In her words, everything in South Africa seems to have volume, even the food. She compares samp to Kenya's githeri, both dishes made from maize and beans. But in South Africa, they won't leave it plain. They'll find a way to add meat. It's not a meal unless it's meaty. And she's right. Braai culture here isn't just about food, it's about identity. A South African weekend without smoke in the air and tongs in hand is almost illegal. Next, she talks about the relationship between South Africans and Nigerians, calling it a toxic brotherly love. When she first arrived, she thought Nigerians must have a hard time living in South Africa because of the tensions that often make headlines. But after spending time here, she realized that the rivalry isn't that deep. It's more like siblings who fight loudly but can't live without each other. She points out that in her comments section, people often think she's Nigerian, and some South Africans even call Nigerians capital letter speakers, because according to her, they talk loud, laugh louder, and bring that big energy everywhere. She laughs about it, saying, sometimes you're like, dang, we need some peace around here. But deep down, she appreciates that this loudness comes from passion, confidence, and culture. She draws a funny comparison to East Africa, saying that in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, people also tease each other constantly, but it's all in good faith. She sees the same thing happening between Nigerians and South Africans, playful competition mixed with mutual admiration. And then she ends her video by inviting everyone to an upcoming event for Kenyans in Johannesburg. She explains it's happening at Goldfield Ground with food, music, football, and entertainment. And the best part? Everything is free. She even says, if you're South African and you want to have a blast with us, show up. Bring whatever you can. Drinks, eggs, maize, anything to share. It's a beautiful reminder that African unity doesn't have to be formal or political. Sometimes it just looks like people from different countries sharing food and laughter. Now let's step back for a moment and talk about why her post struck a chord. First, she wasn't mocking South Africa. She was celebrating its uniqueness. Her confusion, her laughter, her cultural comparisons all came from genuine curiosity and admiration. That's what cultural exchange is all about. The advantages of her post: it sparked cross-cultural understanding. She highlighted things that locals might take for granted, like the beauty of indigenous names, the communal joy of meat-centered meals, and the real but loving tension between African nations. She showed that South Africa, for all its quirks, is full of life, pride, and warmth. But there are also some disadvantages. Her honest observations could easily be misunderstood or taken out of context. When cultural commentary travels online, people sometimes hear judgment instead of curiosity. Not everyone appreciates jokes about names or habits, especially when national pride is involved. But overall, her tone was light, playful, and rooted in admiration, not criticism. What makes her video powerful is that it's authentic. She didn't come with a script, she came with experience. And in doing so, she gave us all a reminder. Africa isn't one uniform place. Each country, each culture, each community has its own rhythm, flavor, and way of doing things. So when she calls South Africa a mystery, she's not being dramatic. She's capturing that feeling so many visitors get, when the country keeps surprising you, confusing you, and charming you all at once. From names that sound like poetry, to meat that defines the weekend, to electricity that takes spontaneous naps, South Africa never fails to make an impression. And maybe that's the real magic of the place. You don't visit South Africa to understand it. You visit to experience it. And if you're lucky, like our Kenyan sister, you'll leave with stories that make you laugh, think, and remind you that Africa's beauty lies in its beautiful, chaotic differences. So next time someone says South Africa is a mystery, just smile, because they're right, and that's exactly what makes it unforgettable.